All right, let's talk about something that's affecting pretty much every company out there, whether they realize it or not. It's this idea of organizational debt. You can think of it as this invisible force that ends up shaping our work, a lot of times in ways we never, ever intended.
And yeah, it often starts with this quiet, creeping realization. I think this quote just nails it. We build these tools, right? These processes and systems, all to serve us. But then there's this tipping point. At what point do we stop being the master and start serving them?
Okay, so that brings us to our first big idea here, the gravity of the systems we build. And I want you to really think about that word, gravity. It's like a physical force, pulling everything towards its center.
And this evolution is absolutely key. Look, at first, it's just a tool, right? A simple piece of code, a new workflow to solve a problem. But over time, it grows. It stops being a tool and becomes the landscape itself, the terrain that every single future decision has to navigate. It literally stops reflecting your strategy and starts shaping it. That's the gravity.
So what is this gravity? Well, it's really a form of debt. And just like with money, not all debt is automatically a bad thing. We've really got to understand the difference between, say, borrowing strategically versus just falling behind.
Yeah, when we say organizational debt, it's not just about dollars and cents. Not at all. We're borrowing from our future capacity in all kinds of ways. Think about it. Every shortcut you take, every decision you put off, that's a loan. A loan you're taking out against future time, future clarity, and even future understanding.
And this slide, I think, breaks it down perfectly. You've got two types. On one side, you have good debt. Think of this as a bet. It's intentional. It's a strategic, temporary shortcut you take because you want to learn something fast. You're trading perfection for some crucial insight. But then you've got bad debt. And that's way more like a tax. It's that quiet, unintentional pileup of compromises that eventually hardens into this brittle architecture, and before you know it, it's this massive compounding barrier that stops you from changing anything. But here's the kicker. Whether it's good debt or bad debt, its effect is always profound. It does way more than just eat up your future resources. It actively bends the direction your entire organization is heading. It actually bends your very vision of what you thought was possible.
So you might be wondering, how does a force that powerful even build up? Well, the thing about bad debt is that it almost never arrives in some big dramatic moment. Nah, it's a slow, subtle drift. It's this tiny accumulation of compromises you barely even notice at the time. You know how it goes, right? It starts small. Hey, let's just do a quick patch to hit this deadline. Then, we'll just take a little shortcut in the data model. Then it's, okay, one more workaround for this one stakeholder. Each one of those decisions seems totally reasonable on its own, but you put them all together, and they create what the source calls a topology of compromise, this invisible landscape that funnels all your future work down these paths of least resistance, which, guess what, are usually the totally wrong paths.
And this is what's so sneaky about it. When you're right there in the middle of it, it doesn't feel like you're drifting off course. It feels like you're getting stuff done. You're shipping features. The dashboards are all green. The roadmap is moving forward. It feels like you're winning. But all the while, the ground is literally shifting beneath your feet.
Okay, so why is this drift so dang hard to resist? This is where it gets really fascinating, because the source material connects it directly to some pretty powerful psychological biases. First, we fall right into the sunk cost fallacy, right? We get so attached to things just because we've already poured a ton of effort into them. Then, the endowment effect kicks in, and we start to overvalue the things we've built simply because we're the ones who built them. And what's the result of all that? We end up building systems that are just mirrors of ourselves, not solutions for our users.
So to get a handle on this, we have to understand this really critical difference between debt and rent. Debt, that's the loan against your future. The interest you pay on it is this constant cognitive load and a slowdown in everything you do. Rent, though, rent is different. That's just the necessary cost of staying in business. It's the healthy upkeep, the maintenance. It's the price you pay to stay synchronized in a world that's always changing.
And I just love this analogy. It's so simple, but so powerful. Entropies is a universal law, right? Things naturally fall apart. Paying rent is just you acknowledging that reality. But racking up debt, that's you pretending the roof will never leak, until, of course, the day it all comes crashing down on your head.
But, as dangerous as all that technical debt is, there's another form of debt that is even more consequential,
And that, my friends, is cultural debt.
So what is cultural debt? It's when your processes start to harden into rituals, and then those rituals harden into your actual identity. It's this slow, sedimentary buildup of unwritten rules and beliefs that binds your entire organization to the way we've always done things here, even when that way makes zero sense anymore.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, you see it when teams start identifying more with how they work than why they're doing it in the first place. You see it when metrics are only used to prove you were right, not to actually learn something new. It's when those fancy dashboards become these protection spells to ward off tough questions. And it's when your OKRs are just measuring busy work instead of real, actual impact. These are all signs of a culture that is drowning in debt, and it's what leads to burnout and just kills innovation.
And this is the final, tragic destination. The whole system, the organization that was designed to serve customers, it just turns inward and starts serving its own preservation. The mission is completely lost.
And here's the crazy part. A lot of the time, we know this is happening. We can feel it in our gut when a process is just pure theater. But there's this organizational physics working against us. The sheer weight and inertia of what already exists just exerts way more force than the flimsy potential of what could be.
Okay, so are we just doomed to this gravitational collapse? No, absolutely not. Look, the goal isn't to be completely debt-free. That's just impossible. The real goal is to make debt visible, to make it manageable, and to make it reversible. So, here's the path forward.
The healthiest organizations, they actively fight back against this inertia. They build feedback loops that are actually designed to challenge ideas, not just rubber stamp them. They actually reward someone for saying, "I was wrong," because they see that as a sign of trust, not weakness. They treat the essential work, like refactoring and retros, as basic hygiene, not some luxury you can skip. And, maybe most importantly, they reward clarity of thought way more than they reward just sticking to your old beliefs.
So, at the end of the day, we can't escape debt entirely, but we absolutely can manage it by making it visible, by actually talking about it, and by building systems that adapt faster than they harden. We can stop that gravitational pull from becoming a black hole.
Because ultimately, our tools, our processes, our companies, they're all just a reflection of us, aren't they? They carry our biases, our shortcuts, our strengths, and yeah, our blind spots too.
And that leaves us with one final and I think really powerful question to think about. If every single system we build is just an imprint of its creators, what part of ourselves are we encoding? Is it our best intentions, or is it our deepest biases?